Tusum Sangye Tam Jeje Ngo, Ritan Jinguru Jazo Shabda, Karting Sumba Mebe Deje, Pande Nama, Tambe Shabje Dulu, Tima Meba, Go Rabdo Tude, Gosum Guba, Chembe Cha, Sashin, Japso Chiu, Chewa Ne, Serap Tamje, Don Drawar Meba, Jeso Zondo, Pande Dorje Changwa, Rikun Shabda, Lama, Karma Ba, Jinguru Gunji, June, Sishe Bajuru, Yidam Nanjurama, Chile Kunji Chebo, Wanjuru Chujung, President Jambrella, Nanjur Ziji, Kuben, Dudon, Dame, Tuji, Chong, Nancy Ranto, Juman Menam Shin, Dewa Chimbo Junji, Mebe Yam, Yila Chame, Tonsa Namgang, Dechin Chaja, Chemboro Chazano, Drubabola, Chujin Deba, Dang, Kuran Debe, General Kangba. 탐제 창주 남남 권제배 냠니 창주 셈나 자자로 주류 적용 오배만 중 동화 송주 담바배제 친지 외제 자외 유고소 대조된 배 양생소 완데 연대 상제 군단 냠나양 거진 상제 내장 하와이 자외 남의 샤바 차자네 다소 조외 남나 죄라 총 Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I would like to remind you to cultivate or generate bodhicitta in order to help the limitless ascension beings who are the wandering in this samsara with the pain, misery, suffering. And as a bodhisattva, we are. I believe so. And so we must help them through cultivating the wisdom of study, contemplation, meditation. Through these practices, and we can benefit all sentient beings, bring them to the omniscient state of Buddhahood. Like life story of Kadamba Master Chenghwa. His main practice is, he says, others are more important than myself. That's it. That's his idam, that is his guru, and that is his Dharma protector. Yes. So we are the follower of Kadamba Masters. Why? Because we are studying their teachings. Not only studying, and we apply their profound teachings. And so this way we can say we are follower of Kadamba teaching and the Kadamba master. Mm-hmm. And not only follower of Kadamba master, I or we are Buddhist. When we say Buddhist, means we are follower of a Buddha. And if you consider yourself as a genuine the Buddhist practitioner, then each and every practice you perform must take seriously. Not simply just read, not simply just listen, but what you listened, what you have listened, what you have read, the text, need to really bring into the practice. And you need to experience the benefit of the teachings and the practice. And you need to prove, yes, the teaching is valuable. Teaching is essential, it's profound, it is working. So that way you can encourage yourself and you can give a profound encouragement to others. So this way you can benefit others. Otherwise, it's almost like a fashion. We gather here, discuss some topics, say this teaching, that teaching, okay, you record, you write some notes down in your notebook. Then if you do not walk with it, if you do not make change, then the practice is for what? So therefore, this is a very urgent for us to make it meaningful practice through the listening of such profound teachings. Tegwa chenpo menga kadam legom rinpoche tsazi changchub senpa norbü trengwa shechawa shuso yagarkedo Bodhisattvamaņyāvalī pyokedo changchub senpa norbü trengwa tuji chenpo la chachalo lamman la chachalo tebe la chachalo 태som 탐제 방자신 루블란네데 계속샤 니무 레로 라방신 다도 준준 배벌자 전당 시신 바유베 왕배고남 군두송 닌첸 뒤섬 양당양 셈지 유라 딱버차 다게 녜바 다자신 신지 추바 썰메자 다게 윤테 바자신 신지 윤테 딱버차 녜당 꾸티 방자신 케다 다도 방마차 뇌바 충신 초셰다 제라 진도 소와차 잠당 인지 공자신 장수 셈네 템버차 미기 존의 방자신 다도 대바 템버차 초당 마잘 숑자신 멤베 셈당 템버차 로베 초와 방자신 최지 초에 초월자 상승 탐제 방자신 파괴 노지 연벌차 눈지 탐제 방자신 연발란에 내벌차 차외 측남 방자신 다동 안에 동벌차 라마 캠보 통해서 구배심으로 제벌차 강사 최지 미진당 레당 보에 셈진라 던변 도시 제벌차 셈진. That's until here, right? Yes. Okay. Overshot. Sorry. Overshot. Next. Simchen tamje tongweze pama putse dusheje. When you talk about this, a father, mother, son, and a nephew. So this is very common in Asia, because when we talk about a family, like family tie, so parents, then the son and the daughter, and the nephew and the nieces. So this is what we call the sense of a family. Of course, there are so many relatives, but you cannot count each and every one of them. So complicated. So therefore, this is a very general, the way express the feeling of loving and caring. You see all sentient beings, or whoever you see, human being, cow, dog, or even insect, whatever beings you see. So indication here is ask to develop or to cultivate compassion, loving kindness, like that you have naturally towards your own beloved parents, son, daughter, niece, nephews. Similar to others also bring or develop same feeling towards. Usually we say three objects of beings. The one that is the object, the who makes you feel like a beloved, the care, love, that is you call like your parents, the relatives. The another one is the being who cause you feeling hatred, or that you don't like, you call this as an enemy. Then the other one is we call like the stranger. It's the neither cause you the beloved or the desire or loving or caring, and nor hatred, that is called stranger. So here, in this sense, whoever these three beings, you see them, then should try to develop or bring up the feeling or the sense of the loving and the caring equally. Like Shantidevas in Bodhisattva Jaya Avatara, Miki Semjin Tanayang, Dida Nila Tene Da, Sangye Nidu Nyuroshe Changshin Chambe Tsujita. Means when beholding beings with my eyes, thinking that I shall fully awaken through depending upon these beings, I should look at them with love and an open heart. And which is true. I think maybe a few days back, I did explain this. When you look at all sentient beings, you must cherish them and you must appreciate them, because without these all sentient beings, I have no chance to do Dhamma practice. Achievement from the Dhamma practice is all come from all sentient beings, right? bodhicitta, compassion, loving kindness, wisdom, like a sixth perfection, all these, the profound view, meditation, conduct of Mahayana, all are compulsorily based on sentient beings. Without them, there is no achievement, there is no practice. If there is no achievement in practice, then there is no fruition, there is no result. So therefore, they are as kind as the Buddha himself. Therefore, in this sense, it's totally equal. From the kindness point of view, Buddha, sentient beings are equally kind to me to develop Dhamma practice. In the Sutra of the King of Samadhi, King of Samadhi, Buddha has mentioned, you make the limitless offering to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Of course, there is a benefit, there is a merit, but compared to someone who lives in the concentrated meditation of the loving kindness for maybe a minute, so the benefit is incomparable. That the benefit you make offering, the limitless offering to the Buddha, of course, is still a very great, but compared to Bodhisattva who does profound meditation of loving kindness and the compassion for all sentient beings, so this merit and this benefit is incomparable to the benefit of making offering to the Buddhas. And which is true because the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas always a concern for other beings. They have totally cut the tie, cling themselves. Their compassion, their loving kindness is always for all sentient beings. If you really want to cherish the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, if you really wish to make an offering to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, if you really wish to fulfill the wishes of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the only way that you can make all of these by development of compassion, love and kindness. Otherwise, like giving example, you beat the son or daughter and you try to cherish your mother. Of course, the mother will not appreciate you at all. Here you beat the son, but at the side you try to make it entertain your mother. Cannot be similar to you do prostration, light up the lamps, burn the smelly incense, and you keep reciting the prayers of the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas. Does not make sense. At the side, you do not practice compassion, love and kindness. You lost your control, anger, jealous, hatred. All this you are trying to develop. Develop all these, but yet at the same time you do the prayer of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. So therefore the best of prayer, best making offering is the loving kindness and the compassion. Digbe Tobo, Pangcha Sing, Gewe Singing, Nyambarcha. The non-virtue friend, Tibetan is called Digbe Tobo. The friend who can influence you a lot of negativities instead of giving like the virtuous action of the body, speech, and mind, instead of that giving a lot of negative instructions and showing negative path and bring to the negative direction. So if anybody influence you these things, and we consider this individual is the non-virtue friend or the non-virtue master. Like in the Mahayana path, if you have met up wrong master, then this wrong master or wrong friend show you a misguided path and a misguided view, misguided meditation and a misguided conduct. So this is very dangerous in the practice of Mahayana. Not only Mahayana, every practice you do, we need the correct view, correct meditation, correct conduct. In order to get the instruction of these correct the view, meditation, conduct, you have to meet up correct spiritual master. And if he or she is fully qualified in the Mahayana practice, there he or she will never make mistake. No? So if he or she does not make mistake in their practices, then whatever the instruction or teachings are given by these individuals, there is no misguiding at all. You can rely on comfortably. So therefore, should avoid or keep distance such the who shows the misguided path or instruction. Mm-hmm. Then, if you avoid this non-virtue friend, then to whom shall I rely on? Then the next is Gywe Nyenpa. Gywe means the spiritual master, the friend, right? The spiritual friend, and who shows you these correct, the view, the meditation conduct correctly and without mistakenly. So we consider this as a spiritual master, and you should value and you should respect this spiritual friend as much as you do with the Buddha and the Bodhisattva, and you should respect this spiritual friend equally. Mm-hmm. In the sutra, there was a example. We do prostrate to the crescent, the half moon, not the full moon, because the full moon come from the crescent, the half moon. Similar, we prostrate the Bodhisattva, not the Buddha. It says in the sutra. Why? Because all the qualities of the Buddha come from the Bodhisattva. Similar, here we are like a kindergarten student who does not have a knowledge at all, right? And you do not have ability to bring up all the qualities yourself without depending on the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is the one who helps you, giving all the teachings, try to make you happy, try to really correct you, and try to give all his, the ability to bring you up. So therefore, the spiritual master is more important than the Buddha to us. Shantideva says, Kangi Tinji Datarwa Gywe Shelang Dachachal. So he prostrate to the Gywe Shinyin, the spiritual master. He says, I prostrate to my spiritual master through whose kindness I fully develop. So that means I was not developed. So because of my spiritual master, whom I approached with the full of devotion, the full of confidence, there I have learned everything from the spiritual master, and I did practice. Because of these, now I fully developed my mind, and I fully developed my wisdom. And now I am no longer foolish man or woman, because I have realized the truth, which is right, which is wrong. All this because of my spiritual master. Therefore, I do prostration to my spiritual master. Gywe Nyenpa. Dang dang midi sembangshing kangdu dewar roar cha. The Tibetan word dang, grammatically there are many meanings. This could be meant anger, angry, and this could be meant like dangwa is like who strongly feeling attached also could be meant that, but here is more like a delusive mind. That is the dangwa. It's like a wrongful minded. The wrongful minded, because of the delusive mind, our mind always trapped in the delusive mind. Although we do practice, because of a delusive mind, and our practice gone to the wrong direction, right? So any practice you do, bodily or verbally, mentally, so as long as you are unable to tame or bring down the force of this delusive mind, so any practice that you may perform all become diluted because of the power of the delusive mind. So therefore, our mind is the delusive mind or wrongful minded.
Yeah.
Outside, we do complain, oh, polluted mind, polluted weather. Then you cover mouth with the mask. And you say, oh, pollution. Go to Kathmandu, pollution. Yeah? Go to some pollution. But pollution is still manageable. You can avoid it. But mental pollution is very difficult. There is no dose. There is no medicine. So only medicine is applying these very sharp instructions, which you may not like it, but no choice, right? So it's much, much better than these doses provided by doctors. So this is a much, much better, but no choice. As long as you wish to avoid or to dispel the delusive mind or polluted mind, so therefore, as long as as long as you want to approach to the path of happiness, then only after once you are able to dispel all this delusive mind or the wrongful minded, then the path of or the direction of the happiness is there. When you read through these texts to teaching, sometimes you may find it's kind of repeating and repeating. But it's important because it's kind of reminding you, and we need someone to remind you frequently and oftenly. One time, two time, very difficult to work with it because our habitual tendency is very profound and very deep, right? But in one single life, if you become like an alcoholic, then in 1 month you become alcoholic. So avoid to abandon alcoholic attitude is rather very difficult, isn't it? But our negative habitual tendency is from the beginning list of time. So few training, few practice would not be workable at all. Therefore, we need someone who remind you from time to time, say, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this, until you fully fed up. Needed. Instruction, therefore we call this instruction. Therefore I say very sharp instruction. Yeah, but no choice. Unless you want to still want to enjoy this the miserable life, a miserable samsara, then okay, that's another story. But if you're really fed up with this miserable life, the miserable samsaric experience, then no other way other than relying on fully these sharp instructions. Okay. Doesn't matter, but explanation goes different. Okay. Anyway, Ganglang is a Tibetan word, means it's a kind of whenever or wherever. Means like we do all kinds of practice, yeah, in the sense of like when you do Hondo practice, you do prostration, the recitation of Doje Sempa, the mantra, and making offering of a mandala and the Guru Yoga practice. Now this is general. And there are many other practices which you perform by body's speech, mind. But with any case, with any practices you do, but main important point in the practice is should abandon the ego clinging. If you perform these practices on the base of ego clinging, then all practices will go to the wrong direction. That's very dangerous. Practice from the Theravada tradition, as well as practice from the Mahayana and Vajrayana. Vajrayana has also four the classification, like the two lower and the two other, the higher. Kriya Tantra, Traya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and the Anuttara Yoga Tantra. The different skills and the different means in the practices, but you must not forget the purpose of all these skills and the means for what? To eliminating this powerful ego clinging. Now, the grasping at self. That is the principle, the cause of all the miseries and the pains and the suffering of the samsara. So therefore, although there are different means and the skills, but you must not forget the purpose of doing all these is only one, which we must eliminate this powerful ego. Therefore, the teaching here, it says, should abandon all the graspings or grasping at self. And the Shantideva calls this is a ego clinging, is called the beautiful term, great ghost. The great ghost. Because he says here, if all the injury, fear, and the pain in this world arise from grasping at ourself, then what use is that great ghost to me? So this is a question. The answer is abandon. That's it. Yes. Therefore, Chapa Meva never saw your life is sustained with the no ego clinging. Why? Because it says, Chakpe Drubwang mitopjing tarbe sojang jobarche. And if you wish to be born in the pleasant life, in the God realm and the human realm, and the ego will cause you furthermore difficulties and the problems. And if you wish to be enlightened, tarpa, the nirvana, and this ego will disturb you to reach there. If something like a gigantic tree which really disturbs you, if you want to get rid of this, the cutting few branches would not be beneficial. Instead of that, you need to uproot the tree itself. Then it's going to be beneficial and fulfill your wish. Similar to the case, we do certain practices in order to make yourself happy or to reduce or dispel the certain suffering and the pains. But because of this principle, the underlying invisible this cause of a problem is the ignorance and is the ego is still there. So the certain suffering and the pain you subdue or dispel does not mean there is no longer pain and the suffering in the future. So if you completely want to uproot or get rid of this, the unwanted pain and the suffering, then the only choice is to uproot this, the powerful ego and the ignorance. So, because if ego, the theory is here, if ego or the ignorance is truly existed or inherently existed there, then we have no choice. No? All practices that we perform and we do is the big waste. Your energy is waste. No? So, no way. But from this profound wisdom of the Buddha's Bodhisattva is seen is just a reflection. It's not there. Okay? You can manage to walk with this ignorance and the ego. Means you can avoid it and we can dispel it. You can eliminate it. Until you fully apply all these methods and the skills, so the powerful ignorance and the ego, although they are not truly existed outside somewhere, but they will disturb you. They will constantly disturb you. But therefore, those great masters, Shantidevas, Kadamba masters, they ask us to develop fully wisdom. If you are once you able to fully wisdom the wisdom of that seen egolessness, then it's gone, instantly gone. It has no power to abide with you once you are fully to develop the wisdom that is fully seen, the no ego and the no ignorance. Therefore, when we talk about genuine compassion, the Bodhisattvas being so compassionate to all sentient beings, it means they are seeing that all sentient beings wandering in this samsara for nothingness, for nothing. Because themselves, Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, have been practiced and discovered these powerful ignorance and the ego is not truly existed. By applying the powerful wisdom, and it's gone, no more there. So you have reached the final stage of the happiness. Now they themselves have become so compassionate to beings because they have seen, oh, these beings are wandering this samsara. Although the ego, the ignorance, not truly there, but because of the wrongful-minded, delusive-minded, they grasp it as a true, as a solid there. So they are wandering this samsara. Oh, how good if they realize the true nature. How good if they are fully able to develop the wisdom, then they can see the no ego and the no ignorance. Then they can reach as good as we reach this level, the final stage of the happiness. So of course, it's the systematic, isn't it? That it's logical that you become so compassionate. If pain and the suffering is truly there, if ignorance is truly existed, ego is truly existed, then compassion no use. Even you be so compassionate, that compassion is quite a stupid compassion anyway, because you can't do anything to them. You can't walk them, you can't help them, because it is their nature. But ego, ignorance is not their nature. Absolutely not. There is something different. Therefore, in the teachings of the Vajrayana, they give transformation. The transformation comes this point. That is not something your nature, but by practice you can transform that into the wisdom, something that you can make it nicer. So therefore, being compassionate has also reason, also sense. Otherwise, you cannot be compassionate. So being compassionate also based on the reason. Therefore, as we are Dharma practitioners, if you have this knowledge, would be very helpful, because at least you feel ease and comfortable. Oh, ego, these disturbing the emotions are not truly there. I can walk with that. I can walk with that, and you could feel that, oh, why I have to be so foolish, because I have never realized these things, but now I realize they are not truly there. So you become very diligent. It helps you to become diligent in your practice. So that is called the wisdom of contemplation. When we talk about the wisdom of study, so the masters give teachings, so you attentively listen. Yes, listen very attentively. So that is the wisdom of study. So wisdom of contemplation is when you go back to your own place, then you reflect on it. Yeah? So without a reflection on it, then there's no way to adopt the wisdom of meditation. So the reflection of the wisdom of the contemplation is very important. The day when you walk up and down the street, even if you do swim, you can do the wisdom of reflection. Yeah? So at least you swim also become a meaningful swim. Yes, at the same time. So therefore, the reflection is very important. So more you do reflection, the study of contemplation, then they're very easy to adopt the wisdom of meditation. Therefore, I think every aspect of your lifestyle can work with the Dhamma practice. There's no such thing, say, my normal life and my practice life. If you make two separate, then very difficult to be achieved the result from your practice. So therefore, in the skillful means, you need to bring your normal life into the Dhamma practice. With that is something to do with your mind. Like yesterday, or the before yesterday, in the teaching it says, like started from the guarding your mind. Guarding your mind and the mindfulness and the alertness, and the careful your mental attitude, your physical and the verbal attitude. Each and every these are we call practice. We always say, oh, I'm beginner. Maybe next year you say, oh, I'm still beginner. And the good excuses is that, why didn't you develop your practice? Then you may say, oh, I have family life, I have a business life, I'm in this life, that life. So you say, I'm still beginner. So this problem caused by lack of wisdom, lack of diligence, and the lack of continuity, and the lack of application. So therefore, if you are able to bring your normal life into the practice, there's no particular time for you to do Dhamma practice. Walking, eating, talking, every aspect of your lifestyle is associated with the Dhamma practice. That is the genuine Dhamma practice. If you make two separate, if you are unable to bring them together, then there is no benefit from the practice. Okay, that's it. And the question?
So it seems like the question is that, okay, we have heard now Dhamma is to be applied to all these manifold emotions and so on that we have and entertain throughout the day. But to really digest the Dhamma information and to apply it to our emotions and mental states, then also that need time to digest this properly. So now our life is full of busy activity. So either I go and say, okay, I just continue with this life and try as best as I can. And of course there is not so much time, but it will just, whatever sticks will stick. Or I say, okay, this too much of speed in my life, so I have to reduce the speed and have to clear up some empty time for here applying that information of Dhamma onto my emotions. So like it seems like there's two options here. Either the Dhamma get less by too much speed of life, or I have more Dhamma but then have to forcefully reduce speed of life.
So you're asking me which one is better, is it?
Yeah.
Is this the question? Okay. Well, I don't know what to say to this question. I think the complaint is almost the same, always. From every individual say that no time and a busy life. And I can consider this and I can concern about that. But when you say, I have no time much for apply this Dhamma practice into the heart. So, I still don't understand what do you mean that you don't have much time. No? So this means like, to me, 5 minutes if you do, I think it's more than enough. If you do only 10 minutes every day, really seriously do Dhamma practice in 10 minutes only, I think this is more than enough. Because I think maybe you expect, let's say, give up family life and run to somewhere. But it's still difficult. That's why I'm saying the expectation is too high. And you cannot speed up that much into the practice also because we still have the habitual. So, being in the family life and the busy life, yet if you are carefully apply the Dhamma practice within, I think this is also the good facility. I think it's a good facility. Having all kinds of circumstances around, it helps you to apply more mindfulness and the wisdom. I don't know, if you are alone somewhere in the cave or retreat, are you really able to apply as much as you expect, and there's still big question mark. So I'm not so sure. So my suggestion, if you want me to give an answer to your question, and my answer to you is the family life is still sufficient, it's still okay. Yeah? So you apply the Dhamma practice within the family life, it's more effective. So don't concern about the time, okay? 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the morning or in the evening, or daytime, maybe let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you continue this, it will bring a tremendous benefit in your practice. Okay, that's it.